Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time, especially on a busy Thursday afternoon. We really appreciate it. And obviously, the goal, and I say this every week, is for you to walk away with some nuggets, right? So you can make more sales and help more families, right? That's the goal for everyone, where this becomes a win-win-win. So make sure you take out a pen and paper, because I don't want you to forget what you're learning today, right? That's the name of the game. We all are on these training webinars and we say to ourselves, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I can use this with Mary. I have a guy, I have a girl, and then we forget, half of what we learned. So use your notes app or a piece of paper, whatever you prefer is fine. Also use that Q&A box. We have that entry box. Typically, it's on the right-hand side. It's a little pane you can open up if you don't see it in front of you, but you can type away. We want to hear from all of you, please, okay? And if we have time, we're going to open this up live for questions, and Andrew will make sure that he answers every single one that comes in. You will also get an email before the day is up that just says, thank you for attending today's presentation, and we'll include all of the brochures, contracting, everything you need to get started. If you don't receive it, please let us know. That means we have your incorrect email address, and we need your correct email. So you can call in and say, hey, Bill, Andrew, I didn't receive today's thank you email, okay? That's simple. Okay, so we're going to make this fun. We're going to make it light. We're going to have a question of the day. Okay, so as soon as we wrap up, right before 4 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to ask a question that has to do with the slides that you're about to see. So make sure you're paying attention. Whoever answers first and correctly wins. Your choice, Amazon Fire Tablet or the new Amazon Echo, you get to pick. Plus, I'm going to send you out a IUL prospecting book on us, okay? And these books are great for you to give out to clients because it kind of tees up a IUL appointment for you so you can make a sale. So very, very cool stuff. The books we sell at our discounted price. So we buy in bulk and they're about $5 a piece plus shipping charges unless you're local. Okay, so what we're going to do real fast is shift gears. We're going to talk about today's presentation. I feel like if you've been in the business for a year, for a month, for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, okay, some cases 60 years, we have some agents that are in there literally in their 80s and 90s that still crush it with us. But the point is, you must know enough to be dangerous when it comes to IUL, right? And I feel like, we have some agents that focus on mortgage protection and final expense, which is all fine. And we have some agents that focus on the larger cases with premium finance. We have some CFPs, some CLU, CHFC, MDRT, top tier agents, right, that know all about IUL. But today's presentation and today's main focus point product is an IUL that you haven't seen before. It's a very niche product. And the reason why I wanted to spend 45 minutes to an hour today, number one, we're not just going to talk about this one product. We're also going to talk about a top performing indexed annuity as well. But here's what's special. Here's what's unique about this main product that we're diving into. Number one, no exam. Up to $1 million. 90% of applications for this product are approved at standard or better, okay, which is huge, okay? That tells me that their underwriting is liberal and this no exam thing is real. They're not just picking and choosing the absolute best, top preferred best clients. No, standard or better, 90% of all apps approved. So that's big within itself, okay? So this is a quick, easy sale for you, okay? I feel like a lot of agents steer away from IUL because there's so many moving parts. How do I explain participation? Does it have an annual reset? I don't want to get involved with that. I'll just stick to term or whole life. Well, you need to know enough to be dangerous. Second time I said it, and that's what we're going to accomplish today. So again, non-med up to $1 million. The product is designed for accumulation and income. Great for younger professionals, okay? Also, Lds, Living Benefits. This product includes living benefits, a big one, okay? Now, this is a great, efficient way. And I don't care if you're that MDRT agent or you're focused on, your third bedroom term sales, okay? Either side is great, okay? But everyone needs a product like this because it's simple, in and out, like I said, up to $1 million non-med and instant approvals if the client qualifies, okay? So that's a big, big deal. It's huge. There's nothing else in the market like this. Plus, the commissions are unbelievable, okay? I can't say exactly the number on here because of compliance, etc., but they're awesome. And when you call in to get set up, we'll share, of course, the commission grid plus renewals, okay, which is another big one. And talk about foreign nationals, another great niche here. They'll even go up to $300,000 non-med for non-residents. So that's another big one, okay? An uncapped account with 145% participation, another big one, okay? We're going to talk about, like I said, FIA, indexed annuities, and we're going to talk about, this is another big one, a long-term care doubler, okay? Right now, LTC is a hot ticket. We have a lot of carriers and products that have gone away by the wayside, right? Because of internal charges and fees. So this is a great hook to talk about benefits that the client can take advantage of while they're still living, okay? The new kind of life insurance, right? That pays while you're still alive. So some great hooks. We're going to share some great marketing material. We have some lead programs because everyone always says, Bill, this product is great. It's unbelievable, but I have no one to talk to. Okay, well, we're going to show you how you can tap into our database or participate in 3 different lead programs, and you can have plenty of people to talk to. Okay, we're going to show you how to open the doors. Okay, let's move forward. By the way, this presentation is going to be a little bit different than what you've seen in the past. We have some new programs going on, some new incentives for year end, for Thanksgiving, some really, really neat stuff on both the life and annuity side. And I want to just share this real quick. And Andrew, let's go into the next slide here. I think it's so important, and I'm not going to get into the whole story right now, but I was at dinner last night, and I was with 5 guys, and one of the guys is basically a brokerage manager for another IMO that's on the other side of the country on the West Coast. And then we had another friend of ours who is a very, very sharp guy, and he wears like 5 different hats when it comes to business, and he wants to get his insurance license. And he says to me, Bill, what do you think? And I said, I think you would, his name's Mackenzie. I said, Mackenzie, I think you would be amazing at this. And we started talking about him getting his license and learning the ropes. And I said, the key with this business, number one, is you have to get some good training in the beginning, right? You need a coach, so to speak. Years ago, you would go work for a captive agency, and then you would go into the brokerage world once you built a book and you knew the difference between term and permanent, and everything's fine, which could take a year or 2 years or 3, depending on who you are and how serious you take this. And what we spoke about is, and this is important, I wanted to share this with everyone. I said, Mackenzie, I said, you're a very sharp guy, and I saw what he did with these other businesses, and he's done pretty well for himself. And I said, what's going to be amazing for you, and I said, what's going to be the real differentiator is when you look at this business and you understand the big why, and you get behind it and you get excited about it, and these families and clients see and feel your passion, that's when it's all going to make sense. That's when you're going to separate yourself from, let's say, the rookies or the green agents and take this to another level. And he said, really? He goes, Bill, don't take it personal, but I just can't see myself getting excited about life insurance. And I said, listen, Mackenzie, I totally understand. I thought the same way when I first got into the business. I said, this just doesn't seem like the cool thing to do. And, I just can't see, I've never been into math and numbers, and I just can't see how this is going to be exciting for me. And I said, no. I said, I understand. And I said, you're partially right, but I said, it's all what you make of it, right? And for me personally, when I first came into the business, I saw this very old school dinosaur type of business. A lot of men that were doing this for years and years. They'd wear these short sleeve dress shirts and these brown ties that stopped at their belly button. And it just wasn't something that seemed cool to me until I said, you know what, why not look at this business, right, and see what's going on around us, but start combining technology and social media and ads, right, and these e-blasts back then, right, and make it fun, create the sizzle, create the pop, right? Turn this old school industry into something special, something unique, almost like an Amazon, right? For life insurance. And that's exactly what I did over the last 23 years. And that's how we have today over 20,000 agents that are literally active with us in every city in the US. Okay? Because it's what you make of it. And folks, it doesn't matter if you're on the retail side and you're an agent, right? Or you're a GA and you have agents under you. It's what you make of it, right? And I said to McKinsey, I said, what's crazy is my dad would tell me these stories about, delivering a death benefit check, when he was a MetLife agent at 19 years old. And he said, Bill, when you as an agent have an opportunity to deliver a death benefit check, he said, everything changes for you. You look at this business completely different. Okay. And me, I never, at such a young age, when I started, 22 years old, I never had the experience of delivering a debt. I did start off by selling, but I never had that experience. So back to the McKinsey conversation, I said, what's going to make this industry fun for you, and when you're going to start to shine and feel it, and people will see that passion and enthusiasm, is when you can see and figure out the why behind it, right? So if you want to write that down, what's your why? And I told him, I said, once you start coming up with some creative marketing ideas and you see it working and the phone starts to ring, or you get emails and people are saying, oh, tell me more, all of a sudden it's going to become real cool. And when you're making, a couple grand, 2, 3, 5,000, 10,000 on one sale, I said, guess what, McKinsey? It's going to become real cool. And I said, I'm going to tell you what the final why is, at least for me. Okay. And that, in my opinion, is the icing on the cake. And that's what's going to light your fire at the end of the day and make this career be the best kept secret in the world for you. It's going to be a dream come true. I said, I'm going to tell you what happened to me 2 weeks ago. And he says, what, Bill? And by the way, I don't mean to rant, but I just want to share this real quick because it just happened last night. So I said, McKinsey, what made this industry so special for me, I've been doing it for over 22 years, but what happened to me 2 weeks ago was a game changer. And he said, what's that? And I said, okay, getting back to the why. I have a good friend of mine, true story, mid-40s, professional. She's a PA. Very successful business here locally in Fort Lauderdale, and she's not married and she has no children. I won't share her personal information, but she's been a friend of mine for 20 years. And she said to me about 10 years ago, hey, Bill, I need a life insurance policy just in case anything ever happens. I want my family to make sure that they can, take over the business, hire someone new, tie up all the loose ends. I don't want to leave them with any debt, right, or any worries or concerns, God forbid, if something happens. Plus, I know one day I'm going to be married. I said, okay, fine. So anyway, she bought a $1 million policy with Prudential, okay, years ago for very, very inexpensive. And she had this policy. In fact, I forgot about it. I didn't think anything of it. I just said, oh, she wants the policy. I'm in the business. Fine. No problem. Well, 2 weeks ago, I get a phone call from her assistant, and it turns out, okay, we'll call her Jennifer for privacy, but turns out I get a call from her assistant. Jennifer died. She passed on. Okay, this was on a Saturday 2 weeks ago. She died Friday night, okay, the day before I get this phone call. And anyway, I'm getting calls from a lot of her friends because they knew we were very close and family. And then I get a text message from her mom. And her mom says, Bill, can you please call me Sunday? So this happened Friday night. Saturday, I get the call. Sunday, she wants a phone call from me. And I said, of course, and here I am thinking before I called her, what am I going to say to this poor woman? I feel so horrible, right? You think of all these things in your head, and it's the worst feeling in the world, right? But obviously, you got to pick up the phone and be there for her, right? What happened is just it's horrible. You can't even say it in words, okay? So anyway, I'm thinking about this, and I said to myself, wait a minute. I think she had a policy. I think she had $1 million life insurance policy. So I text Michelle, she's my assistant here in the office, and I said, Michelle, can you look to make sure that she did have a policy? And number two, I want to make sure it's active, right? She texts me right back, Bill, she has a Prudential $1 million policy. It is active, okay? And the beneficiary is her mother, who I'm calling on Sunday morning to discuss what just happened to her daughter, okay? So my point is, here, in the worst time ever, I got an opportunity, right, to not only call this obviously her daughter's just passed on, but to call this woman, right, to talk about this horrible situation, right? And I picked up the phone and we spoke. But the point is, I was able to bring a little bit of light at the worst moment in this woman's life and history, right, for her, okay? I was able to say, Miss Smith, okay, I'm so sorry about what happened to your daughter. I feel so horrible, as she's crying. And I said, what's most important right now is that you take care of yourself. You have to be okay through all of this, right? Because she has a son and family and grandkids. And I said, you have to make sure you're okay. Are you eating? Are you sleeping? As she's, crying hysterical, right? And I said, oh, and by the way, Miss Smith, I said, I don't know if you're aware, but your daughter had $1 million life insurance policy. So you're going to get a check tax-free of $1 million. Takes about 30 to 60 days, right? And you should have heard how the tone in her voice changed. It was not that she was happy by any means, but you can hear a little bit of light shine through. And all of a sudden, I became like her best friend. And she's calling me and texting me, Bill, thank you so much. You don't know how this changed my life in this horrible situation. No, it's not going to bring her daughter back. And no, it's not great news at the worst time ever. But I'll tell you what, it helps. Okay. And it changed the tone in her voice. And I said to Mackenzie at dinner last night, when you have the opportunity, okay, to bring a tax-free check to a family. Okay, this woman didn't even have any kids. She wasn't married. But imagine you're bringing this $1 million check and you were the one that brought this up. You're Superman or Superwoman. Okay, and you're going to keep these kids in a home and they're going to be able to go to college because of what you brought up on that Wednesday night at the kitchen table. Okay, I said, Mackenzie, when you look at the business like that and you understand your why, this business is going to become real cool for you, okay? And you're making money as you're helping families. You are going to shine. You're going to love it. And again, it'll be the best kept secret in the world. So it took me 22 years to have that experience, which happened a couple of weeks ago. But I'll tell you what, for everyone listening, and Mackenzie, by the way, okay, who's getting his license now, okay, when you look at what we do each and every day like that and understand why we do what we do, you're never going to let a family walk away from you again, because you're going to explain how important and how serious it is for this couple or husband or wife to have a life insurance policy. I promise you. So let's all walk away with that and figure out your why by the time you're done today. And I think you'll look at this business in a whole new light. Okay, let's shift gears real quick. Recent testimonials. This is on our social media and mainly Facebook pages. I love, love, love to see this. I'm not going to read every word right now, but we're going to include this in our thank you email. And I want to just take my hat off to the agents that did share, because we appreciate this more than anything, okay? And by the way, you leave a comment on our Facebook page, and I'll send you that new IUL prospecting book on us. Okay, let's move forward. What's going on here at Levinson? I know I ran a little bit over on time. I apologize once again, so I'm going to move quick here before we introduce our feature presenter. So real fast, carrier incentives. It's end of year, my favorite time of the year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, all the above. Great, great time. It's also nice to make a few extra bucks during this time, okay? And by the way, I'll say it for the third time, this new product you're going to hear about, the comp, unbelievable. So it will also help you during the holidays. So real quick, top left corner. Now, this is a big one. On the annuity side, okay, you write an indexed annuity, okay, you win a family feast. You can use it for Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's. I don't really care. It's on us up to 12 people. Okay, we'll include the details in our thank you email. Bestows our instant issue term product. So you're hearing about this instant approval IUL, right? If the client qualifies, no red flags. We have the same thing on the term side, but it's all done in less than 10 minutes, 100% direct to consumer, and we're paying you, the agent, even if you write yourself, even if you don't get approved, we're paying you to try out this new e-app, this complete direct-to-consumer process, which has never been done before on our Insure Me Now Direct platform. It's amazing, okay? Plus, Bestow is giving you another $50 gift card for your first app, okay? We also have SureBridge on the platform, $25 for each placed app. And then on the bottom, Levinson Expo is back, bigger than ever, April 8th, 2022. Another one you need to write down, okay? I want you to have your big Y, W-H-Y, in bold letters, because you got to figure that out today. That's your homework assignment. Plus, April 8th, 2022 is the date you want to be here in South Florida at our beachfront resort. We're going to have over 300 agents down here from all over the country. Our top carriers, our keynote by Mary Reed. It's free for everyone. But what we're doing is, if you write minimum premium, we will give you a free night at our beachfront resort, or I should say, and starting at $50,000, we'll pay for round trip airfare and your free room, okay, on us. Or if you're brand new, you haven't written anything yet, it's free for you. Plus, this includes all meals, breakfast, lunch, and snacks throughout the day. So that's free, okay, no minimum premium. Okay, middle section. As you know, what's going on with long-term care. Minnesota Life Securian is back with their hybrid product in Washington State. That's another big one. Real fast, we have a new virtually guaranteed issue term product up to $100,000, launching December 1, so just a few weeks away. Couple other things. Let's move over to the right-hand side. I'm going to skip around a little bit. This is a pretty cool sales concept. Okay, right now we know what's happening with small businesses across the country. Okay, if you know any small business owner that's applying for an SBA loan, okay, you have to have life insurance to cover the length of the loan, right? So think about this for a minute. You talk about a marketing pitch, a strategy, okay? They have to have life insurance. These loans are typically up to about $500,000, and there's some jumbo up to $1 million. So what you can do, you can get a list of everyone that's applying for these loans, okay? And you can offer a term life insurance product, awesome premiums, and you can literally email this client a link. They can run the quote, they can apply online, instant approval, print and save the policy, all while you were sleeping. And you still get full commission and your agent of record, okay? We have a flyer going out for this. It is an awesome strategy that's pandemic ready, okay? I think it's a great hook, and I think you can run with this. Let's move forward. Okay, these are our top IUL carriers, and what you will notice, top right-hand corner is F&G. F&G is the one that came out with this awesome niche IUL. You're going to hear from Danielle, our VP, in just a few more minutes. You will also notice our other carriers and products. You're going to see a red asterisk. Those come with free scholarship. And then you're going to see a blue asterisk, which means they're part of and approved on our IUL sales platform system, okay, which is great. If you're selling IUL, this is a great presentation that you could be part of. It looks like you built it. It's coming from you, your name, logo. It just makes selling IUL simple, okay? So you can check that out when you get a chance. We'll include all of this in the thank you email. Okay, let's dive into our feature presentation of the day. And I want to take my hat off to Danielle. I appreciate her taking the time, and we were one of the first IMOs to launch this, and we so appreciate the partnership. So without further ado, we have Miss Danielle Davis. Are you with us, Danielle?
I'm here. Thank you so much, Bill. That was an amazing opening. I hope I can deliver for everybody here, but I have to say we get to participate in a number of webinars and meetings, and that by far was the best opening I had heard in a long time. So thank you so much. That was just great to listen to, truly. So I want to introduce, yes, of course. Truly, I really mean it. It's always great to hear stories, from the field and to hear real life examples of why we're doing what we're doing. I will tell you before I kind of launch into intros here, since we're talking about the big why, and I know for most of us, when we say the big why, you would say my family, and I know for me personally, I get a lot of energy out of the work I do, but my why is really providing financial freedom for others and protecting them at the same time with our products, and I truly, sincerely mean that. So I hope that you will hear more of that story and be able to use that in your practice and your business with your customers. A little bit about myself, Danielle Davis. I'm one of the National Account VPs here at Fidelity and Guarantee. I'm responsible for our life channels IMO brokerage distribution. And I partner very closely with all of our partners, such as Levinson and Associates, and really look to grow that distribution over the next couple of years. And that is why I joined just a couple of years ago from another carrier, is to help broaden our presence if you might be newer to hearing about F&G when it comes to especially IUL sales. That is why I'm here. Joining me today is one of my colleagues, Matthew Mendel. He is a senior internal wholesaler for our IMO brokerage annuity team. So together, we hope to share with you about F&G, and really, if you walk away from anything, knowing that we have very solid and strong accumulation-focused products, whether it be life-focused or annuity-focused. And through our agenda today, we're going to spend just a couple of moments talking about who we are at Fidelity and Guarantee and why you would want to do business with F&G and partner with Levinson and Associates for that. I'll highlight some of our core IUL, which is PathSetter. I'll also share a little bit more about another product that you would have access to exclusively through Levinson and Associates, so that we can maybe get some more information and have Andrew also help with that, and happy to continue that dialogue as well. And then Matthew will also discuss a little bit more around our F&G Power Accumulator annuity. And then at the end, we'll close it out in partnering with F&G and next steps. As a reminder, there is a chat box available. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in there. And I know Andrew will help us along the way with that as well. So a little bit about who we are at Fidelity and Guarantee. And I'll be really brief here. There's a lot to unpack with the story at F&G. And I mentioned the accumulation story, so that'll be one bit of the story. But I also want you to know that this is really the F&G of the present and the future. So we've been around for over 60 years. We really have been in a new phase, I would say, starting around 2012 and beyond. And we have some nice growth and opportunities ahead of us. If we're looking at our strengths and where we are today, I would really point to Fidelity National Financial becoming our parent company in June 2020. So they had announced their intent to acquire F&G in January of that year. And I know sometimes that can create some questions or possible uncertainty. And what I would say is that this, further strengthened our story here at F&G. And so Fidelity National Financial, when you think of us as through this partnership, is they are the largest title insurer in the industry. So in a low rate environment that we've been experiencing, they'll have a high volume of business coming in, but we do anticipate rates to rise, and they have risen a little bit. And as a life and annuity carrier, we help them in balancing that out. F&F also has an excess of capital, and as a growing carrier, we will happily accept that capital. So to give you an idea of F&G and where we have grown, when I started with the company back in January 2020, we had about 300 employees. We finished the first half of this year of 2021 with over 600 employees. And that is remarkable when you think of us having attracted and hired and onboarded those individuals really in an entirely remote environment due to COVID. But they still allow us to operate very much independently. And then the one thing that I want to call your attention to that you see reflected in our IULs and our annuities is the Blackstone Difference. And this is a value proposition that is truly unique to F&G. So when premiums come into a carrier, they go into a general account. And it's our chief investment officer's responsibility to earn the largest yield possible back to our policy that we can and to our contracts that we can. It's through the Blackstone Difference, and you see it reflected in our products. It's due to the Blackstone Difference that they give us access to higher quality, higher yielding debt. And that's where you see, for example, with our IULs, higher caps and pars, but reliable cap rate histories reflected in our products. So I want you to know that this is a value proposition that gives us those corporate pillars of strength. And it's really, Blackstone was really one of the deciding factors of why I joined F&G. And then at the end of all of this, we want to work with a select group of partners. We want your contract to have value. We want your partnership in Levinson to have value to you, where it's not a carrier presence that you see from every agent on the street. We want to be select in that, and we want to be very purposeful and strategic in that distribution approach. So why F&G? And so I'll talk through a couple of highlights here. Bill hit on them. I'm going to move some stuff out of my screen here. Here we go. Bill hit on it a little bit around our process. And so speed to issue is the real deal at F&G. We have truly taken it next level. And when you're submitting your IUL applications with F&G, we're wanting to get our agents paid as quickly as possible. So our average turnaround time on all of our business, including fully underwritten applications, is 21 calendar days. And what I want you to take a look at here is that other carriers, right, we start with that fully underwritten program. Some carriers have an accelerated underwriting approach. Some have a non-med approach. F&G is going to be at the lower end of this spectrum, and we'll continue to make process improvements to get policies out the door as quick as possible. So number one, we're available on our flagship IUL that I'll be sharing with you today on our Path Setter, 100% exam free. So it's been a little bit more time around this exam free process. Bill had kind of teased out some of that. But then we have another product available to Levinson Associates that's Insta Approval. So I know we looked at the bestow information. We have an IUL that's Insta Approval as well here at F&G. And so we'd be happy to share additional information and get that out. And I know Andrew can also include that in some of his follow-up materials. So I want you to take a look at this and consider our underwriting programs as really something that is the present and the future. Other carriers are trying to keep up with us when we're getting products, getting policies issued and out the door. And we are truly nimble in this, and this has been our approach, especially post-COVID, to remain nimble this entire time frame and to look ahead and see how we can be even faster. When we're looking at the competitive performance of our flagship IUL, which is the F&G Path Setter product, what I want you to know, this is a bit of an eye chart. I understand, I totally get it. But what I want you to know above all else, when you are looking at an accumulation-focused IUL, is that the F&G Path Setter, by its design, is the #1 illustrated product in the industry. So when you couple this IUL with our proprietary domestic volatility controlled index strategy from Barclays, which is the Trailblazer Sectors 5, it's the #1 income generating IUL in the marketplace. So when we're thinking about IULs and what all they can do, in addition to the importance of the tax advantage income, we're going to be able to pass on everything possible back to the policy owner with the way we have it designed. And this is important too, right? We're looking at a scenario where we have national debt at an all-time high. We have taxes at an all-time low. What do we think the future is going to be when we're thinking about our entire portfolio, right? We're starting with that foundation with our protection products, and then we might be layering on other factors to that. What if we have a tax advantage protection vehicle in an IUL that's going to generate as much income as possible to that policy owner? So when we're talking through our flagship IUL, which is Pathsetter, this is what makes me energized every day, is seeing the potential that we can offer you in its design. And some of the things I want you to know just really quick, if you were to take notes today, would probably be this slide. So we have strong product performance driven by high caps and a reliable cap rate history. So I want to underscore this reliable cap rate history. So our S&P has not had a lot of cap rate changes. I know a lot of carriers, they change caps overnight. We have not. We've had only 10 cap rate changes since 2012 for our S&P bucket. We also offer a top variable loan rate, which I will share a little bit more about over our next slides. We have that proprietary index strategy from Barclays that I'll cover a little bit more in depth. And then living benefits. I'm a belt and suspenders girl. I love living benefits. I wouldn't write a policy for myself or my husband or my children without them. And then a little bit more around exam-free underwriting. So if we're looking at unpacking Pathsetter a little bit more, we're going to issue it through age 80, starting at face of amounts of $50,000. Some of our niches include our top variable loan rate of 5%. It is contractually guaranteed not to exceed 5%. I'm going to say that again. If you're designing an IUL for income, you have a policy that is contractually guaranteed to not exceed its variable loan rate of 5%. So if we think interest rates are going to go up in 10, 15, 20 years to 7, 8%, could be more, your policy is locked in at 5%. We also allow withdrawals up to 20% surrender charge free. So what that means, the example that comes to my mind is COVID hits. We need access to our policy. We would allow you to take 20% surrender charge free, and then you would follow the surrender charge schedule from there. We also offer 2 account value enhancements at no additional charge. So we have 2 high bonus strategies that have a 1% bonus in years 2 and beyond, and then we have a persistency bonus of 25 basis points on all strategies years 11 and beyond. I know a lot of times we say 0 is your hero or our hero with IUL, but actually F&G sits just above that. Our guaranteed minimum interest, or the floor of our policy, is 0.25% or 25 basis points. So you're going to start at a floor of 0.25% and then work your way up from there with your index crediting. When it comes to charges and expenses, I would put us on the moderate to low end. And then we have a no lapse guarantee of 15 years with minimum premium. What I want you to walk away from this slide is looking at a transparent and consumer-friendly design. Again, we've designed our policies to give everything possible back to the policy owner. When we're looking at our index crediting options, I'm going to highlight 3 strategies on this slide. The first one is going to be that S&P bucket. So I call it our high cap S&P. It has a cap of 13%. You may say 13%. I believe that is the highest cap rate in the industry, and you would be right. It is the highest cap rate in the industry. But I want to underscore again that reliable cap rate history. Since 2012, we've had only 10 cap rate changes. Remember, this high cap is supported by that Blackstone difference and what it brings to us at F&G. And we've always stayed between 13 and 15.5%. And some have been cap rate increases and some have been decreases. So I want you to know that. I'll focus on the 2 green bars now. The first one is our high bonus S&P strategy. It has a 9.5% cap rate with a 1% no charge bonus. When we say a 1% no charge bonus on the strategies in the 2 green bars, this is not a multiplier or a buy-up strategy from another carrier. This is packaged into your policy at no additional charge. So that high bonus S&P strategy with that 9.5% cap, that's for those individuals that maybe want to illustrate a little bit more conservatively. Maybe we just kind of want to see where this policy falls and kind of stress it a little bit. We could do that with that strategy. And then the belle of the ball, as I like to say, is the Barclays Trailblazer Sectors 5. again, she's an annual point-to-point. I want to underscore the annual point-to-point. On some of our annuities, it's a 2-year point-to-point. Again, that 1% no charge bonus, years 2 and beyond. She's uncapped and she has no spread and an illustrated rate of 7.16%. One of the most common questions I get is, hey, Danielle, I illustrated Barclays Trailblazer Sectors 5 and then your high cap S&P. I don't understand why Barclays is generating more income off of it than your high cap S&P, even though the illustrated rate is lower. That would be because that bonus is going to reflect in your tabular details. So when you're designing for income, you'll see that 1%. That'll be included in those numbers as we run them. It just won't be included in your historical lookbacks that we show here. So I'm going to focus again on the same 3 strategies. Just want to call your attention to a couple of things in the interest of time here. So the first one is that high cap S&P with that 13% cap rate. What I love looking at here is the 20-year average. It's almost 8%. A 20-year average of almost 8% with the caps and floors at work. That includes the last decade of the 2000s. There are a lot of ourselves out there that on our IRA or 401k, we would have loved to have almost an 8% average annual return during the dot-com bubble and throughout the financial crisis, right? So we've got that high cap S&P bucket here. In the middle, we have that high bonus S&P with that 9.5% cap rate, a 6.34% 20-year average annual return over the last 20 years in that look back. And then if we look at the Barclays Trailblazer Sectors 5, I apologize, marketing had worked on these slides. That green box at the end, just push that over to the right a little bit more. It looks like they played with us a little bit. We want to look at the Barclays Trailblazer Sectors 5 on the end with a 145% participation rate, uncapped strategy. We have a 10-year look back of this one over 10.5% on this bucket. We don't quite have a 20-year yet. The underlying ETFs on this strategy were not yet incepted prior to 2004. So you're going to get access to all 10 sectors of the S&P with Barclays, and it has the ability to pivot to cash as needed depending on the underlying volatility and what's going on with the strategy. Let's take a quick look at an example here of the numbers at work. We're looking at a 45-year-old female. She's standard non-tobacco, putting in $20,000 over 10 years. She's going to take loans and income ages 65 to 90. And what I want you to remember is that this is an exam-free underwritten case. So her initial death benefit is $400,000. By age 65, she would have had cash value projections of $530,000 and taken income annually over through that 25-year time horizon of $62,000. So when we're looking at this policy, she's put in $200,000. She's going to have income coming out of this policy by age 100 of $1.5 million, and she still has a residual death benefit should she live to age 100 of almost $900,000. I know Bill underscored the competitive design of our targets and potential commissions to you all. I would say we have very competitive targets. This example we have here is post 7702 rates. We also allow you to illustrate old rates too. So depending on if you're going to design it more as a cash accumulation, which would be the one we're looking at here, or more of a death benefit design, we allow you to illustrate either way through our software. So I know I said it was a belt and suspenders girl. Living benefits are where it's at. Table stakes, I feel, on policies these days. Our policies will allow you to have and offer critical illness, terminal illness, and chronic illness at no additional charge to your policy owners. At their core, they allow you to accelerate 100% of your policy up to $1 million. We issue all 3 through Table 4, and that's important because some carriers will carve out critical, whether it's a rated case, or they don't offer critical at all. And this is important. This is also part of the why. Why do we protect people? That critical illness is the most commonly accelerated living benefit in the industry. And if we're carving that out on rated cases or we don't have it available at all, then we're not really bringing any value to that policy and that policy owner. We will go toe to toe to any carrier in the market on our living benefits and our living benefit payouts. So exam-free underwriting, right? So we have had great success with exam-free underwriting. We launched it as a part of our post-COVID strategy, really. When COVID hit, we were saying, how do we keep folks protected and not expose them to the risk of a paramed? And this was our response in taking it next level. As of next Monday, our exam-free underwriting will extend through age 60 through $1 million of coverage. 90% of these cases are being approved standard or better, and 70% are being approved in 7 calendar days or less. So what we do is we're running data in the back end, MIB, RX, MBR, and a soft credit check. We're trying to make a decision based on that data. If we can't, then we will request a tele-interview if needed. In some cases, we may request an APS, but our APS rate is actually rather low. It's around 10%. So I would say more than anything, just to have that awareness that our tele-interview might be requested. We've actually made our e-application more reflexive these days to allow you to schedule that tele-interview at that time with that potential insured. So I want to pause here and give Matthew a little bit of time. What I want you to remember is, again, this transparent, consumer-friendly design. We have the highest cap rate in the industry thanks to the Blackstone Difference. We offer you a proprietary domestic volatility controlled strategy through Barclays. We offer you living benefits and exam-free underwriting and a solution to provide tax advantage supplemental retirement income, and really being the #1 illustrated IUL for accumulation and cash values in the marketplace. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Matthew, and just give me some direction. I'll advance the slides for you as well.
Thanks, Danny. One question I tell people when they're coming to F&G is to ask their wholesalers if they own the products they're selling. And I personally have, well, my kids at least have that past their products. So fantastic product, really excited for the future for them. So I'm here on the annuity side. I want to talk about our most exciting product. We won't be able to have a chance to get to the income products today. But this Power Accumulator is a slam dunk fixed index annuity, accumulation only annuity. And I'm going to go a little quickly through this, but it's a very simple and elegant solution. And it's also performed very, very well, especially this year in this crazy COVID times. So I'll talk a little bit about how it works, and then how kind of what the advantage is to the index that we have exclusive access to. So I'm going to go very quickly. I apologize, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions. This is essentially how this product works. This is the chassis here. Diversification is the name of the game on this one. It's the first fixed index annuity in the marketplace that has exclusively ETF-based crediting options. Blackrock Etf. Blackrock is a household name, or should be a household name, the #1 name in ETFs. We'll talk a little bit about how it works in a second here, but essentially 7 and 10-year chassis available. There's a fixed interest crediting option available. The good thing is with our annuities, all of our annuities, fixed index annuities, we have built in what's called an MVA rider. That rider there, what it does is if certain criteria are met, we will allow a client to access the total account value, including any growth, without penalty during the surrender period. Very, very important. But there is a release valve there if certain criteria are met, especially end of life, terminal illness, those type of situations. Free partial withdrawals after the first year. Danny, next slide, please. So I talked a little about diversification on this. I will say that as of today, every single one of these options here on a 2-year basis has done at least 5.5%, which is fantastic to have that type of diversification on a fixed index annuity, no downside. You can see the iShares here that a client can allocate to. One thing that we get a lot of questions on is, how's the back testing? How are the fixed index annuities coming to the historical performance, right? The core parts of this product are all close to 20 years old, right? The ETFs here that's tracking are 20 years old, super transparent. Any client can Google these tickers and get a full history of those ETFs. The Blackrock iShares website will pull up and give them exactly what they're looking for, as much information as you could possibly want as an investor, to kind of maybe shift the premium into a product like this, whereas most indexes in the industry, most allocations in the industry for fixed index annuities are truly can be kind of opaque, right? I'll admit they can be kind of opaque. Very, very transparent product. All this information is just one Google away. Next slide, please, Danny. So to start the show here are the balanced asset indexes. So I'll talk to you here. So if there's any page to look at when you think about F&G and about our annuities, again, these indexes are also on our flagship income product, Accelerator Plus. So keep that in mind too. Very simple and elegant solutions, right? Again, zero is your hero. There's no downside. The way these work, the first 3 points here are very important. 60-40 portfolio construction, it essentially stays as a 60-40. 60% IVV, S&P 500, 40% TLT, which is a 20-year treasury. That's it. There's not 15 moving parts. It is built to be overweighted in domestic equities, which is very, very rare. It's rare to have, we'll talk about the performance here in a second. It's rare to have a fixed index annuity index that is this weighted towards something like the S&P 500. That's point number one. Number two, it forces itself to rebalance monthly at the beginning of the month, which is a huge deal, right? Past 2 years, most indexes in our industry here have done what I like to call hiding out in cash, right? They'll hide out in cash. Cash has no volatility technically according to their calculations and how they're developed. It will hide out in cash. It will not force itself back to how it was built. The way this was designed, they wanted this to stick as close to possible as 60-40 as they could. So it forces itself to rebalance at the beginning of every month. Very, very important. And that's why it performs so well. And here is, I think, the star of the show for this index is the volatility is managed at 10%. 5% volatility strategies, and there's a version of this on here we'll talk about performance very well too, but 10% volatility is pretty rare on a day-to-day basis, right? All these indexes basically rebalance on a daily basis to try to beat 5% volatility, 7% volatility. What happens with the 10% volatility strategy is it stays as close to that 60-40 as possible throughout the year, right? That's why it's so important to have as much volatility control as possible, volatility appetite as possible, because the fixed index annuity is already a volatility control product when you think about it. Next slide, please. Hey, Danny. Thank you. 10-year return here. This is just kind of showing the performance of that index. The actual index itself has done over 11% in the past 10 years. Now, one thing to keep in mind for fixed index annuities is if the index it's tracking goes negative, like you see here, there's a couple negative years, it's not necessarily a bad thing for the client. Depending on when their anniversary is, a negative point might lower the value of that index that it's tracking for when you're locking in the next 1 or 2 year period. So please keep that in mind when you think about it. Zero is your hero. A client's not losing money. These orange negative numbers, no client has ever lost money on a fixed index annuity when the index has gone down because they are protected by the construction of the annuity. Next slide, please. So I mentioned we have a 5% volatility version of it. The primary thing I want to point out on this is there's 1 year and 2 year 5% volatility versions of this index. Again, very, very elegant index, 60-40, 2 moving parts plus cash, forces itself to rebalance at least once a month. The kind of the killer app that we have, that the advantage F&G has, that no other carrier that I'm aware of has, is that our 5% volatility strategies here, indexes here, they have 100% minimum participation rates. That's a huge deal, right? A lot of carriers will, produce for you, here is our rate history, we barely move the rates. Well, for the life of the contract for the client when they're buying into an F&G annuity, they will always have on these 5% volatility strategies, at least 100% minimum participation rate, right? Very, very important. That number is obviously a magical number in people's minds, but they will always have an option to allocate their money into on the anniversaries that is not below 100%. So that's a big deal. That is something that F&G does differently. And that kind of goes back to the Blackstone advantage and the thing that Danny talked about previously. Next slide, please, Danny. So just kind of a recap here. Again, I promise you this index is that simple. Our accumulation products are very simple. There's not a whole bunch of bells and whistles. The things that you need there, like we talked about, what we call the MBA rider to protect the client in case of sort of end-of-life events, is there. The things that clients need are there. The things they don't are not. Very, very simple. The key takeaways, in my opinion, though, are household name of Blackrock, ETF based, so very, very transparent. And you have these uncapped strategies that are extremely, extremely equities driven, right? That is That is the name of the game, I think, on a go-forward basis in the fixed index annuity space, the annuity space in general, is to try to get as much alpha as you can for your client. And it's just a simple and elegant solution, right? I mean, you have two moving parts plus cash. Very transparent, low cost. There's not a fee if you don't want it. There is a fee, a very affordable fee as well if you want to buy up some more participation rate. And then you get the access to your account if the client qualifies. Next slide then, Danny, please. I meant this to be the Balanced Asset 10 Index, but I'll just show you what this looks like. So this is, for example, what as of last, what is this, the 29th of October, it's a couple weeks ago. This is year-to-date, 1 year and 2 year return. I'll tell you, these are top of market. The Balanced Asset 10 here, for the same date, you can pretty much double those numbers. Right? So we have clients that are, depending on what date their anniversary lands on, currently getting on a 2 year basis on the Balanced Asset 10 about 19 to 23% crediting on a 2 year basis. Tough to argue with those numbers. In addition to it being such an elegant solution, and you have the strength of F&G behind it. You can see here the volatility was a little higher than 5%, so it's a 60% base exposure. I don't want to get too deep into that, but if the Balanced Asset 10 slide was up here, you could see the over leveraging, which is something fixed index annuity indexes do, which means it's overperforming versus the underlying ETFs, and that's probably a conversation for another time. But just know that you can get up to 150% performance on these indexes versus the underlying ETFs in times of low volatility. All right, Danny, next slide, please.
Yeah, we got about a minute left, so just giving you a heads up.
Got to talk to the product. So hypothetical illustration, 60-year-old, 250K. Danny, next slide, please. This is that Balanced Asset 10 Index. Most recent low and high performance years here. Now, notice this is a 2 year strategy, so the odd years will be zeros. There's only 1 year in year 6 where there actually is a true zero. 9.26 geometric average. It's a compounding average number. These are some very extremely attractive historical numbers. This Balanced Asset 10 is designed really to grab on to the market, especially even if there is some volatility in the market in a way that other indexes are not. All right, so I believe that is the last one that I have. Danny, if you want to pass it back, we still have a couple seconds.
Yeah, I think just coming in the home stretch, I know that Andrew will send out some follow-ups. We've been discussing some follow-up materials for you all. We do have product sites available with a plethora of content. I couldn't be more excited with what marketing has helped put together for us, because when I started, I didn't have this resource. So know that Andrew will help and build that specific to really based on your needs, and know that we have additional content. I know that there was some discussion around social media, and we can help partner with Levinson & Associates as well for some content that you could use through your social media platforms and to message to potential prospects. So with that, I'll pause and just say thank you so much for this opportunity to share more about our story. There is a lot more to talk about here, most definitely, and we're happy to continue the dialogue and partner with you all anytime and support your sales efforts in any way possible. Our ask of you is next time, whether it is an IUL or a fixed index annuity sale, that you take a look at Fidelity and Guarantee and let Levinson & Associates know if they can help partner with you for illustrations or any questions around our products. And we'd love to earn your business and work more closely with you.
Great stuff. Thank you both. And by the way, it's my fault. I apologize for cutting you off a little early. And Matt, we're going to do a separate training just on the annuity side, definitely by Q1, so in the next couple months. So we'll talk to you about that as well. Okay, again, I appreciate your time. We have about 3-4 minutes left, and then we'll have our question of the day. I know we're a little bit late here, so I'm going to skip through most of the slides. So how to get started, we're going to email everyone, like I said twice, that thank you email. If you don't have it in your inbox, let us know by the end of the day. The scholarship program, I think it's a great hook for selling IUL and differentiating yourself from everyone else in the business, right? So that's a big plus. And you can give out the $500 gift card, 500 points for scholarship just for a meeting, even if the client doesn't buy a product from you. Or think about this, if let's say we have 10 approved carriers that are scholarship approved, if you've been selling, for example, Mutual of Omaha for the last 10 years, right, you can go back to all of those policyholders and say, hey, great news, you get a 1-year free scholarship because I'm now a SAGE approved agent. So another great hook to open doors back up. Okay, so the next slide here, this is a example e-blast that one of our GAs is sending out, right, to recruit agents, okay? And he'll probably kill me if he sees that I'm showing this, but it's okay because we partnered together. But anyway, this is just an example he's sending out for the holiday times, and he's just trying to show the value add by working with him by leveraging the scholarship program. So again, you know what we can do? We'll change it up a little and we'll include it in the thank you email just to give everyone some ideas on how you can make the phone ring and have emails coming in to say, hey, tell me more. Okay, the IUL book is what I was talking about earlier. This is another great handout, a great gift holiday time for you to give out to prospects because it will literally tee up the IUL appointment and sale for you, okay? Plus, we have a few other co-op lead programs. Premium finance is another big one, especially when we're talking about IUL because of cash value. So even if you've never sold a product like this, we have someone that will come in and do all of the heavy lifting. They'll, as long as you have the person's name, email, phone number, they will do everything else for you. And we have two programs. One, there's no commission split. So if you're interested in hearing more, let us know. Same thing goes for the distribution specialist platform. That's with Mary Reed. She's our keynote speaker at the Expo in 2022. Again, great books that she authored, and she will come in and do all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, so again, name and number. She'll take it from there and include you every step of the way. So that's Mary Reed Distribution Solutions. Okay, now we have the holidays coming up, a lot of off time, right? And I think, in my opinion, you constantly have to fuel your head with new ideas, new motivation, right? So what we did on this slide real quick, this is our podcast, The Bill Levinson Experience. We handpicked the top 5 viewed podcasts that we have done in the last 5 years. Number 1 was Jorge Solar. Okay, he's right from Cuba, and he came here with nothing. He got drafted into the minor leagues. Okay, if you follow baseball, he just won the World Series a few weeks ago with the Atlanta Braves. He won the game, or I'm sorry, he hit the game-winning home run, and he is now a superstar at 30 years old. Okay, put it this way, the ball that he hit, the home run ball, went over the fence into someone's backyard, and they were looking for the ball. It was on ESPN, and they were offering over $1 million for the ball that he hit. He was sitting in our conference room a year ago. So he's got a great story. Check that one out. And then number 2 is Emmanuel, one of our top agents. Number 3 is my own personal mentor, coach, Jeff Levitetz. If you've heard of Cleveland Clinic, every orthopedic center in the Cleveland Clinic hospitals is named after Jeff Levitetz. He's a Forbes 400 mega superstar, all about charity, giving back, and I'm so proud to say he's my mentor. I'm going to give you some takeaways in a second. Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, the social media guru. I sat down with him for an hour. And number 5 is one of our top agents, Pradeep, who is another MDRT life insurance star. And these are great just to listen and learn and write down nuggets, okay? Because, you know, we're all stuck in these 4 walls, and sometimes it's good to listen to what's going on outside. And if you can pick up someone else's, let's say, perspective or someone else's ideas, or, hey, how do they make the phone ring, you know? And great, they're all free, and you're sitting around anyway for 5 days eating turkey and sweet potatoes. So come on, check it out. Let me know what you think, and I want to hear from you. Okay, our future webinars, that's what you're on right now. This is every single day of the week. We have Agency Automator on the bottom, our impaired risk platform. We're going to talk all about guaranteed issue and simplified issue products. And also, we just heard the Forrester's non-med term product is going away, I believe, let's see, by this weekend. So we have a ton of other products. So it's really not a big deal for us, but I wanted everyone to know it's news that just came in today. Okay, our last slide and our question of the day. And again, I know I ran a little bit late and I apologize, but I hope this was worth it. This is a Positive Tuesday quote that I put out, as you know, every Tuesday. I call it my top 5. And this is what I learned from my personal mentor, and I wanted to share it with you all, and then we're done in 15 seconds here. Nothing beats hard work. Number 2, do what you say. Number 3, consistency, persistency wins the race, right? Every day it's keeping your right foot on the gas. Do you and be you. Never change. Number 5 is stay humble, be grateful, and always give back. I hope that everyone learned a little something today. Our question of the day, make sure your fingers are on your keyboard because I'm going to ask it right now, and whoever's first wins. So my question of the day is, tell me the name of my personal mentor that I just mentioned. Give me his first name, you win. Andrew, tell me who is winning the Amazon Fire or Amazon Echo. Do we have a winner? Give me a name and state if you can.
I have Randall A. as the first. I don't have a state quite yet. Just for time, I wanted to get you the name. Randall A.
Randall A. Congratulations. It's Jeff Levitets. I appreciate everyone taking the time. I apologize. We ran 9-10 minutes over. So, again, I hope you walked away with a nugget, which is most important. Thank you again. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. A great time with the family. We'll see you next week. Take care and good sailing.